Hi everyone, and welcome to this instructor video about sound. This video discusses the renewed importance of sound in contemporary filmmaking and phases of sound production, as well as what types of sound are commonly incorporated into movies and why those sounds are important. To begin, let's return to the time of classical Hollywood cinema. Throughout the golden age of Hollywood, and into the late 1960s, most filmmakers thought about sound only after the picture was shot. These filmmakers did not design films with sound in mind, and rarely considered that decisions about art direction, composition, lighting, cinematography, and acting would ultimately influence how soundtracks would be created and mixed. In fact, many filmmakers thought a film's use of sound was effective if the sound effects and the musical score were loud and dramatic. More recently, however, filmmakers tend to abide by the following principles regarding sound. The first principle is that sound should be considered throughout pre-production, production, and post-production. The second principle is that a film's sound is just as important as its images, because each component has its own unique capabilities. And the third principle is that in a motion picture, sound and image are co-expressible. That is, they coexist and contribute to one another. These principles help ensure that sound is a crucial component of the filmmaking process instead of an afterthought. These updated principles, advocating for the importance of sound in film, have gradually changed the way sound is produced. The first stage, design, occurs in pre-production. In this stage, filmmakers decide what kinds of sounds they want or need in a project and determine how they should create those sounds. The second stage, recording, takes place during production. Recording usually centers around a film's dialogue, which is recorded on set by a special mic called a boom. The third and fourth stages, editing and mixing, occur in post-production, that is, after filming has wrapped. During the editing process, some pieces of dialogue may be re-recorded if they were not correctly captured during the initial recording process. Additionally, this is usually the stage in which sound effects and music are incorporated into the film. In the fourth and final stage of sound production, mixing, audio engineers combine different tracks of sound and adjust the pitch, loudness, and quality of the single track to their desired levels. Throughout these 4 stages of production, the sound crew typically produces 4 types of sound in a film: dialogue, environmental sounds, these are sometimes referred to as ambient sounds, music, and silence. These pieces work together to create the soundscape of a film. Of course, when deciding what type of sound to incorporate into a scene, the sound crew must consider where certain sounds come from. They need to determine, in particular, whether or not a sound exists within the world of the film. On one hand, sound that originates from a source outside the film's world is referred to as non-diegetic sound. Examples of non-diegetic sounds include background music and certain sound effects. On the other hand, sound that exists within the world of the film is called diegetic sound. Within the category of diegetic sound, there are several more specific kinds of sound. For example, the umbrella of diegetic sound includes on-screen sounds, that is, sound that emanates from a source the audience can see, as well as off-screen sounds, sound that comes from a source the audience cannot see. An example of an on-screen sound could be an audience clapping, because the viewer can hear the sound and see its source. An example of an off-screen sound could be a dog barking in a backyard off screen, because even though the audience can hear the sound, they cannot see the source. There are also simultaneous and non-simultaneous sounds. Simultaneous sounds refer to sounds that are both diegetic and on screen. So our example of an audience clapping works here too, because the viewer can see the source of the sound in real time. Finally, non-simultaneous sounds occur when a sound that has previously been established in the film reoccurs through a flashback. An example of this might be when a character has an important conversation early in a film and then recalls that conversation later while they're doing something else. The audience recognizes the sound as being from the film, but also understands that the characters are not repeating this conversation. These subcategories of diegetic sound might seem confusing, but remember, if a sound exists within the world of the film, it's a diegetic sound. If a sound exists outside of the world of the film, it's a non-diegetic sound. When used effectively, non-diegetic and diegetic sounds contribute to a film's verisimilitude and enhance a viewer's investment in the story. Ideally, all featured sounds, such as a musical score, on-screen dialogue, or a funny sound effect, work together to establish the desired mood and tone of the film. Thanks for watching this instructor video all about sound in film. I hope this video inspires you to pay closer attention to how sound is implemented in movies you watch in this class and on your own. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Till next time!